I'm Dr. Kimberly Manning.
And this is Dr. Ashley McMullen. And you're listening to the Human Doctor Podcast, where we explore the human side of medicine, along with teaching, living, learning, and all things in between. Using the power of storytelling, conversation, and connectedness.
Hey, we're two dope academic internal medicine doctors, but we ain't your doctors. So if you perceive anything we say here as medical advice, no, it ain't that. Also, the things we say, they only reflect our brilliant Black woman magic mind and not our employers.
You could have been anywhere, y'all, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Let's go.
How you doing?
I am doing quite well on this fine evening. It has been a good day, probably because I had a really good weekend.
Cool. What was it on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being amazing, 1 being not amazing.
You know, as much as I'm tempted to leave a little room for improvement, this weekend was a 5.
Oh, the weekend was a 5.
Yeah.
What's up? What made it a 5? What was so good about it?
So I ran a half marathon on Sunday.
You did? You ran a
Yes.
half marathon?
Yeah. And I ran it with none other than the Dr. Emma Shack, who you are familiar with.
Emma. Hey, Emma.
But yeah, no, it's like it was my first half since med school. So it's been over 9 years. I was really proud. I mean, we kept a great conversational pace the whole time. We were laughing, we were smiling. Like it went by very fast. I've never actually run a race with someone. So
okay.
I wasn't sure how that one was going to go, but it was beautiful outside. It was fun. Like my body felt good. I'm already thinking about the next one.
You know, if it was a good race, if as soon as you finish, you start looking at other races.
Yeah, I already know which one I'm going to do next.
Well, the people should know that your hair right now is an entire vibe. Despite you running 13.1 miles, it is like it's kind of like a pineapple situation you got going on.
Yeah.
Explosion of beautiful hair. Like I don't know what it was, a twist out that pulled up. What's going on?
Yeah, it was once twist and then it became a twist out, and now it's just a mop of curls tied up with a scarf on the top of my head. This is what I love about my work from home days is, you know, me and Mahalia keep it chill.
Yeah, that's the kind of like Black woman hair that like strangers want to touch. I hope this isn't offensive, but can I touch your hair? How do you feel about people touching your hair that you don't know? What's your rule?
I know I'm
Oh,
very,
really? You're one of those women?
yeah. I mean, if I know you, like, you know, it's fine. But if I don't know you, do not touch my hair.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was a little aggressive, but no,
No,
I
it's
feel
all
pretty
good.
strongly about that.
It's all good. Okay.
Well, I'm tempted to ask you about if you're having any Olympics withdrawals because we haven't had a chance to debrief yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, not really. I mean, obviously, you know how much I enjoy the track and field, but I will say that, you know, while everybody cracked a lot of jokes about the breakdancing, as a person who grew up in the 70s and 80s and who literally grew up with hip hop, like when hip hop turned 50, I was like turning 50. Like we were like lockstep, you know? It was really, really like culturally disrespectful. It was horrifying. One of my strongest memories of the Olympics is when I was going to the ninth grade. It was 1984, and the Summer Olympics was in my hometown in Los Angeles. And man, the city was just like electric. Everybody was so hyped. Everywhere you went, it was just Olympics, everything. But one of my close childhood friends, was really into breakdancing and had somehow gotten this gig to be one of the kids breakdancing in the closing ceremony.
Wow.
And we like would talk all the time about it. And I remember him going to practice all the time. And this is like, we weren't driving yet. So he was like taking 2 and 3 buses to go to these breakdance things. And the finale had all these kids breakdancing at the end, like B-boys from all over the city. And I just feel like it was such a diss to the culture, you know, and I know, like, again, we laughed a lot about that person whose name I don't even know from, you know, down under. But even like even watching, the whole thing, it was just I was like, this was a culture born in Queens that grew up all in like cities that were dealing with oppression, that where kids were dancing over break beats. And you mean to tell me that nobody representing that culture was up on the podium or featured? Come on, man. So to that I say good riddance. I heard it ain't gonna be in the uh, I'm I'm
Yes.
I'm sad because some people would have gotten a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
But man,
Yeah.
that was not cute.
You're right.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, the more the merrier. You are welcome to honor the culture, but can the culture be a part of the culture, please? Like, come on, man. It is culturally humble for us to think very carefully about how we do certain things that are important to certain cultures. And I think
Yes.
and that can translate to medicine too. So, if y'all are wondering why am I talking about breakdancing on the Human Doctor podcast, there are just a lot of opportunities for us to be culturally humble, me included.
Yes.
So yeah.
I'm here for it. And I'm also excited for, the next Olympics to be in your home city.
That's right. That's right. And let me just say, I used to have some skills breaking too. So,
Okay.
if y'all need somebody to come make a comeback in our 50s and show y'all,
Great.
how to up rock and how to, do a couple windmills. I
Hey.
might lose some hip function
Hey, well, if Ray Gun is, if that's the bar, I think.
I would have took Ray Gun. Definitely. At 53, I would have took, oh girl, I'm so sorry. Oh Lord.
Oh, love it, man.
Harder, must say. Anyway.
Well, on that note, I think important factual knowledge that Dr. Manning, in addition to so many incredible skills, also is willing to take her shot at the podium for breakdancing.
That's right.
But,
Full on
this
B
is
girl.
this is not the Human Bee Girl podcast. This is the Human Doctor podcast, which means that we are going to pivot to the best part of the episode, which is to hear a story from the phenomenal Dr. Kimberly Manning. But before we get there, we got to ask, what is the what?
What is the what?
We'll keep asking until we come up with it. Yeah.
Okay, I do have a what. The what is truth.
Truth. Okay. I
I
love
don't
it.
think Jolie, check the list. Have
I
we?
know. And
I don't think so. I
yes.
don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
And if we have, it is not in the context that I'm going to use this
Okay.
because actually I was thinking at first the what was going to be imposter,
Mm,
but I decided that a better word for the story I'm going to tell is truth.
truth. Okay.
So we're going to go back somewhere between my second and third year of residency. You might recall that, I did a 4-year residency in combined internal medicine and pediatrics. And I was on a busy stretch. I don't even remember what I was on, but it was something inpatient and something busy, and something that involved a lot of dictations that I wasn't always the greatest of staying on top of. So I'm just doing my job and doing what I could do. And I get a page, and the page was to the residency program office. I called the residency program office back. It's the program coordinator. She's like, hey, the program director and the chair want to talk to you. And I was like, okay. Is everything okay? And then she was like, yeah, I don't really know what it's about. You just need to come on over here.
Mm,
I was like, dang, okay. When do I need to come? So you probably need to come as soon as possible because both Dr. Persey and Dr. Olds are both here. They need to speak with you. And I was like, okay. So I'm, kind of freaking out. So I'm like, damn, okay, what could be going on? So I sludge over there and I am like, damn, I know it's because I need to do my dictations. And they about to sit me down and be like, yo, you haven't been doing your dictations fast enough. I get over there and the two of them are sitting in there at the table and I'm sit down and they start talking to me and they ask me, how is everything going and how's residency? And spoiler, they asked me to be chief resident. Now I admit that it is absolutely 100% true that I thought I was in trouble when I got that phone call. And it is also 100% true that it had not occurred to me that somebody was going to ask me to be chief resident. I will say that the reason it was two of them there, the chair of medicine and my Med Peds program director, is because the chair of medicine wanted me to be the medicine chief, and my Med Peds program director wanted me to be the Med Peds chief.
Mm,
So they were talking to me about it at the same time.
wow.
So all of it was very overwhelming to me. I was just so relieved that I wasn't in trouble. But I used to tell this story and began to talk about how I suddenly started to feel a deep sense of imposter syndrome. Then, like, why did they pick me? Maybe they just picked me because, I have good comic timing. I'm a Black woman. I seem to get along well with people. I probably need to dictate faster. But other than that, that's probably what it is because I'm definitely not the smartest person here. I have began taking some time to think about these inflection points in my life where something happened, where a spotlight got put on me for doing a good job and what I felt. And I always called that feeling imposter syndrome. Like, now you're going to look at me and think I'm good. Now you're going to look at me and be like, what are you going to do? Fast forward to me being on a faculty at Emory, was teaching medical students and as a small group advisor and doing a lot of teaching. I was very, very involved in student education at that time, still am. And in 2011, I was at the senior medical student gala. They're like, going away celebration thing that they have. And every year at that time, they would give this award called the Golden Stethoscope Award. And that award would go to the person that the class graduating had selected as their overall best teaching attending for the time they were in medical school. So in 2011, they called my name. I was like, well, that's cool. But I was a small group advisor that year. I knew a lot of students. I was like, okay, that's cool. The following year, in 2012, I'm at the same event and they called my name again. I was like, damn, that's wild.
Mm,
This is not even one of my cohorts. Okay, that's cool. But they kind of know me. All right, cool. 2013, I returned to the same event. The Golden Stethoscope Award goes to Dr. Kimberly Manning, third year in a row, three unique classes. I was like, wow. And then the fourth year came, and I'm sitting at the table, and someone says, we should just start calling this award the Kimberly Manning Award because the winner this year is Dr. Kimberly Manning.
wow.
4 years in a row, four unique classes. And again, I'm saying this again because right before they were getting ready to say who won, in my head, I was like, please let it not be me.
Mm,
Please let it not be me. Please let it not be me. And again, I used to think it was because my imposter syndrome was swelling and raging so hard that the more you put a spotlight on me, the more people would get proximate and find out the truth about me. But now I'm older. Now I'm older. And I am now starting to think more about how loosely we throw that term around, imposter. When I became a small group advisor in 2007, I put my whole heart into that job. I worked my ass off. I was there for students. I made time for them. I know I was a good mentor. I know I was a good teacher. And in 2012, I know I was too. And in 2013, I know I was too. I wasn't the only one that was good, but I know I was good. And if it was somebody that was going to be in the running, I should at least be in the running. I don't think I thought I was an imposter because, see, to me, an imposter means that you are pretending
hmm
to be something that you are not.
hmm
And at some point, the gig is going to be up. People are going to bust you and figure out that you really ain't who you said you were. And I think what I've always felt is not imposter syndrome. I think what I felt is that I know who I am. I know exactly who I am. I know I work hard. I know I have some shortcomings, like Nina dictate faster, procrastinating on some items that require me to, you know, hand in something by a certain time. But over time, I've come to know myself. I know what to expect of myself, and I know how hard I work. And I know the kind of zeal I pour into my job and the kind of passion that I pour into what I do. And I know how I show up for people. And I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. This is not something that developed when I became a medical doctor. I was showing up for people when I was in high school coaching JV cheer. So I'm kind of like, what's the truth? The truth is, my concern is that you will look closer at me and decide that you don't appreciate me for who I am, and that it will force me to try to change myself to fit an ideal that I think is the ideal that you want, not the one that I am. But who I am is dope. I am enough. I worked hard to become a doctor and deserve to be one. Have never thought I didn't deserve to be a doctor. But sometimes I come in spaces where people don't think that that's what I should be or what I deserve. So what I have always made a me problem sometimes is a them problem that
Yep.
I'm responding to.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people do feel imposter syndrome. Sometimes people really do feel that. And there have been times in my life where I felt that, where I felt it like I was a little bit out of my league at first. But I have never, ever thought that I could not strive hard enough to get competent at something. Even if it's something I'm behind on, I'm like, I can figure out how to do this. I'm a smart kid. So I think I'm telling this story because it's just thrown around so much. Oh yeah, and of course the imposter syndrome voice. And I'm like, well, is it the imposter syndrome voice, or is it that the world has an idea of what excellent looks like? And I know I'm excellent in some ways. I know I have some shortcomings too, but my concern is that the world might not appreciate what I got to offer
Mm.
because it does not look like what they expected. That's not imposter syndrome. That's underestimation syndrome followed by how will I survive? And what will I do to survive? So stop putting a spotlight on me, not because I'm not deserving, but because I think it's going to cause you to scrutinize me in a way and then not approve of what I know is special.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you say it's imposter syndrome, ask yourself, hold up. Do I really think somebody's going to jump out of the bushes and say, hey, you're supposed to be here? And then suddenly know, like suddenly realize that all the things I've been saying ain't true. Come on, son. That ain't
Yeah.
true.
I've heard you speak on this before. And every time I'm in spaces with people like hearing this is the thing that lands so deeply. The moment I knew that the term imposter syndrome maybe had gotten a little loose and watered down was when I heard one of our prominent department chairs who was happened to be a white male and talk about his imposter syndrome, which, no shade. I'm sure that, there were variants of that. But, I think there is something particularly unique to certain folks who've been historically excluded. And I also see often is the case too when someone, usually a UIM or underrepresented trainee is struggling a little bit, especially early on in the year, that folks are very quick to label it as imposter syndrome. And so I love how you kind of pick this apart because I've struggled with this too. I do have forms of imposter syndrome, but I like this notion of trying to tease apart like what are the them issues versus the me issues, because sometimes I will often internalize what I think are others people's expectations of me and then feel bad that I am not meeting those expectations and therefore there's something wrong with me.
And you can actually not meet an expectation and not be an imposter.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, again, with time, you start to know yourself a lot better. And, I was, cracking the joke about me procrastinating on writing certain things because I know that under stress, it activates me in a certain way and it makes me more creative. But that was something I learned about myself through a leadership development program.
Mm,
And one of the instructions they gave me is that it works fine when it's just you. When you work with other people, though, you're going to have to find a way to not do that. There's also things that I know I don't really do that well, that I don't really know that well. Right. And you can not know stuff well and not be good at a particular thing or have some knowledge gaps in a certain area, but not be an imposter.
mhm,
I'm no imposter about the fact that I don't really know how to do vectors on EKGs. I do pattern recognition, but I'm not a cardiologist,
mhm,
right? But I'm like, no, this doesn't make me an imposter. This is just so, this is true. But what I know is that if I decided that it was really, really important to my practice right now for me to learn vectors, I would learn vectors because I'm
mm.
smart enough to do that. And you know what? The man for whom our residency program is named, Dr. J. Willis Hurst, he would probably just roll over 5 times in his, rest in place if he knew I was talking about vectors this way. But you know what? I didn't train with vectors, Dr. Hurst. I'm sorry.
One of the things that I hear you say that I feel like is so important is just like the way that in which you know yourself, know where your strengths are, know where there's some things to make up. But even with all of that beautiful complexity, you're just like, I am who I am. And that isn't shaped by other people's expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a work in progress,
Mm,
and we have to find a space for people to be imperfect and for you to just sort of acknowledge where you have some areas of uncertainty. And some of your areas of uncertainty will remain areas of uncertainty. It doesn't make you an imposter. You're just better off when you sort of know it. I'm not a fast runner. If I go and join the Oakland running group, yeah, no, I'm going to probably want to run intervals at some point. I'm not going to go to the front of the pack and run with the people that's running, an 8-minute mile. I'm not going to do that. Not
mhm.
because I'm an imposter, just because, I know this about me. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna be back here.
Yeah.
Um, again, I just feel like in some aspects of our lives, it works to do that.
Yeah.
Like something like running, it's okay to be like, oh yeah, yeah, I want to run with the people that run a little bit of a slower pace. But for something like being a doctor,
Mhm.
they want you to run a metaphorical 7-minute mile. And if you are not running a 7-minute mile, you call yourself an imposter. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. You're still gonna get there
Yeah.
if you run slower, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probing people on that, like, and I find that I'm in feedback sessions, particularly with women, and particularly with women from historically excluded groups, saying, "Yeah, I just think I have some imposter syndrome," and I've been calling bullshit on that. Mm, you you applied to something really competitive. People who think they're imposters don't do that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what is it then? Is
Yeah.
that you don't want to get shortchanged by somebody? And I only know how to be me. So I think
Mm,
that's the other part that I worry about, right? Because if your expectation causes you to start to like overanalyze me, then I have to try to be something else. And I'm not very good at that. It's the truth.
and maintaining that truth and embracing it, even with the spotlight on you. What should we call you? Like the 4-time like Olympic champ of like head, or what are you up to now?
Now you know what? My run ended in what 2014. My run ended. I think I got it 4 times. What is that? 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 14.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, but you know, people can handle the truth. They can.
Mm,
They can handle the truth. It starts though with us checking ourselves out, sitting for a moment, in quiet contemplation and being like, what's true about me? What is true
mm,
and what is not true? And again, people's upbringing can be very complicated, whatever traumas and experiences you had as a kid may certainly shape your self-esteem and how you see yourself. But I think it's a lot of people out there who grew up cherished with, a whole family and community rooting for them, who know, they can do things, but they misdiagnose what's going on with them as imposter syndrome when it's really, I think you might underestimate me and I'm scared you can't handle the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But you will find out though. You will find out that when you start being true to yourself, that that's what people want all along is the
Absolutely.
truth. They want
Yes.
the real you.
I can attest to
It's
such.
less to remember.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Yeah, girl. So this is what happened when you're telling stories late at night. Start getting all existential crises thinking.
Yeah, maybe we should switch to the nighttime format. I feel like this is good. Um, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit in some contemplation after this. But I will say what is true for me right now is that I am just deeply in gratitude for our friendship and the wisdom that you bring to this space. You know, I feel lucky that I get to hear it first, but I'm also just excited for a lot of our listeners who will be able to tap into this and feel something.
I hope so. And you know what is funny, what felt if it almost felt a little lumpy to say, but I've been practicing is to speak the words over myself that I speak over my little sisters and my near peers and my friends. When I was like, I'm dope. I'm dope. And I can figure out how to do a lot of things if I set my mind to it. That's not an easy thing to say, right? Because
No,
it's so easy for me to say it about you. But if you start getting yourself in the habit of offering some of those affirmations to yourself, it's going to be a lot harder for somebody or even you to quickly assign that to you being just a full on imposter.
that part.
So I'm going to ask you to do what I did. What's something you have to say good about yourself that would
Oh,
be what would you say to you as stepping out of your body as your good friend?
see, you gonna make me do it live.
I am gonna make you do a live. You got me out here doing it. And don't edit it out either.
Yeah, I know. Where I was like, well, at least I have editorial rights. Oh
Ah,
man, I I am very proud of the person I have become and the person I'm becoming. Like I am just really proud of the fact that I've been able to live or try to live authentically when that seemed so elusive and scary before. I feel like I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was.
can we reframe it not as a deficit though?
Okay.
I am strong.
Ooh, okay. I am strong.
Yeah, I am strong.
I
Yeah,
am
I'm
strong.
strong. I am authentic.
I am authentic.
And I am me.
And I am me.
Yeah. Takes some of the wind out of the sails of it to say, like, to start from the deficit from where you were going. Do those
Yeah.
things right now. And you are dope, you know?
Mm.
And you produce this podcast. And I don't know how to do that. Y'all, that's where I am an imposter.
Yes. We'll name it where it's accurate.
That's
Uh,
what's up. Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Because I do not know how to edit a podcast. But
Mm,
guess who does?
yes.
My girl.
I am a good producer.
That's right. You are a good producer. And I am glad to be down with a good producer.
Yeah.
Well, sis, I love you tremendously. I am so proud of your 13.1 mile run and Emma's too. And I am proud of our listeners, all of whom have logged into a computer to confirm that they are registered to vote and who intend to vote in this next election and who have made a plan for how they're going to vote. And I'm just very proud of you.
I
You
am
are awesome for voting.
I am proud of our folks too. Good job, y'all.
Yay, you. All right, party people.
That wraps up this week's episode of the Human Doctor Podcast.
Special thanks to our favorite brother gastroenterologist, Dr. Chuma Obiname, for the beats. Shout out to the Dr. Ashley McMullen for editing and production.
Mad love to our podcast family at The Nocturnist and the Clinical Problem Solvers, our Med Twitter fam.
And especially shout out to all of you, our listeners.
Until next week, remember,
We see you and you are enough.
Holla.
Holla.